Yeah, not much. We got league night. We got a little league championship tonight. So hopefully
Hey,
this can lead us to a league championship here.
yeah, this is going to be the difference, right?
This is
Just show it
this
to
is
the
it,
team
dude.
right before. Show it to the team right before the game. Tell them to change everything they know, and it
Uh,
should be fine.
this dude on the internet told me to do this, so you guys should switch it up.
Yeah, it changed everything.
How you been?
Nah, dude. So you had a good weekend, I guess, huh?
Yeah, yeah, we had a little hometown tourney. The biggest thing, man, I was messaging about that. The vision on the ball was wild.
Yeah, it
Crazy.
helps a lot.
Helps a
Yeah,
lot. Like it was night and day difference with like, oh, that ball's going exactly there, that ball's going off. And I was struggling with that a little bit. And now it's like picking up on it. Like, but it makes
yeah,
sense.
and
You're using two
it's
eyes
such a
instead of one.
fine line too, man. Because like I even the past few weeks have been struggling with almost being too open and not getting into like that kind of tension point, I like to call it, where when you load, you should like you should have a little bit of tension through here. Like there should be on that front shoulder, there should be like a pinch. And so sometimes when you turn open, you can overdo it. And one thing I noticed when I was watching those clips of you that you sent, I'll say a lot of your misses, if you go back and look, those pitches are short. Like those pitches are going to be falling on the plate, in front of the plate. So sometimes in softball, man, people too get too caught up in like the result of the ball, right? They go, oh
Mm.
man, like, oh, I hit this one there, or this ball did this. And they instantly do what? Oh, my swing, my swing, my swing. Well, it's like, no, you go back and I can clip probably two or three of those swings where the ball kind of peeled off on you, or it kind of was like an inside out swing, but that ball was falling on the plate. And so if you take that same concept and same approach, but that pitch is up here, that's going to give you that more of that cut line drive swing that you're wanting instead of that like weak kind of like barrel down, inside out, like push shot.
Yeah.
And then let me see here. Let me go to, I already saved all your stuff. I watched them last night. I want to see this pool round. Try to remind myself what I saw.
But that makes sense too, because in games, it's been much better than a lot of the BP shots and just being more selective and triggering at better pitches in games.
Yep.
So that makes sense because I was watching some of but ever since I've switched to that open stance, it's felt way better in a game, and I think it's because I'm seeing what pitches
Yeah,
swing at.
you're just recognizing it, man. And now you can play with what you want, right? Like if you feel like a certain way to start feels better than others, or if you're more comfortable somewhere, go to it, right? I mean, I'll never tell anybody how to stand when it comes to like a comfort point. Like I'll tell people like, hey, look, you're starting here. That's kind of closing you off. It's making this hard or making that hard. But so on your pool rounds, what's funny is a lot of your best swings, and it's gonna sound funny, a lot of your best swings are on pitches out over the plate, right? Like middle away, which I don't mind that. But why? Just so you know why that's happening is kind of where you're backed off the plate. I'm not a guy that moves in the box much, right? Like I don't start closer. I don't start closer if I'm trying to go inside, and I don't start further if I'm trying to go away. I feel like as you move up, that's a big telltale sign of what you're doing, right? Like there's a few guys in the conference, and I'm not going to say any names, but like they have some things that are dead giveaways. Like they don't even notice it. And they may notice it, but like there's guys that I could tell you like he's pulling, he's pushing just by their setup, whether it's hands, feet, plate, whatever. Like it's not that hard to remember what guys do when you play them every weekend. And so I'm a big fan of when you take BP, set yourself up. Now, look, there's going to be times where you go, I want to scoot up in the box for XYZ. I want to scoot back in the box for XYZ. But you shouldn't be moving in the box. And this may be popular to what some people say, but I just don't believe in moving around in the box based on doing a push or a pull swing, right? Set yourself up. for the success there. So all that being said is you're really quality at pulling that pitch that's kind of away from you, because you're like me. I like to get extended when I go hit a softball or even a baseball. I love good extension. And so what do guys do with good extension? They try to keep it on your hands.
Yeah.
So if they're going to do that, all of this was getting back to this. When you got that middle end pitch in this video that was on you a little bit, you made this movement. You cleared everything, right? Your chest open, your hands were with your chest. You didn't have a ton of hand separation. And that was like the first thing I noticed, right? And so what's causing that? I'm not going to just tell you what you're doing wrong, right? I hate that. Yes, you recognize that inside pitch and you did what? Clear. But when you clear with hands and shoulders and chest, you have no power left.
And it's
Zero.
what it feels like on the
Yeah.
super. Yeah, it's my worst pitch by far.
So it's gone, right? So how do we fix that? Like, how do we address that issue? When you're going and you're in your stance, right, whatever it may be, and you recognize middle in, right, like heavy on my hands, right?
Yep.
What I want to see is this, where it's like a torque, and we're keeping those hands almost feel like they're back, and we're inside, and everything we do is like here, and then it's explosion. It's real easy to like clear everything, right? And go, oh shit, this ball is way inside. Let me fly open. Yes and no. I want you to fly and clear, but I don't want those hands coming with us. That's why hand and body separation is so important in our load, right? Boom. If this is your load and you fire from here, it's going to come with you. But if this, now I have this capability to let my hands lag behind my hips and everything, and I can do what? I can keep my hands inside of that softball.
Yep.
Now, I'm telling you that because you got to have that knowledge to know how to fix it when that's a problem. If I'm you, I'm not doing what? I'm not attacking that middle in pitch unless I have to.
Yeah. Which has been
right?
kind of the solution recently.
And,
but
and that's a good solution. Like, I hate when people say you have to know how to hit every pitch. You don't. Not 750, not 75% of the time you don't. There's a reason, and I will go back to this over and over and over. There's a reason Kyle Pearson gets walked as much as he does. Because swinging at bad pitches leads to outs, man. It does. And I put a target on me, because I am the guy that does that the most, maybe of freaking anybody in the world, because I'm a bad ball hitter. Always have been. I was in baseball. I still am in softball. I'll go swing at a pitch that's a foot short and cut it down the line, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't really know. It felt right, so I did it." Like, you don't have to be perfect to every pitch. Recognize what your strengths are. And that's kind of like what I want to talk about today, is not so much about your swing, because dude, those videos, like, I think you're in a good spot to kind of like evolve without adjusting stuff. Like, I think you look really comfortable in the box. I ultimately want to do some things that are going to incorporate our lower half a little more. And I'm going to clip a few different swings of like lower half being involved that I think you're just missing if you want a little more power, right? But today's focus is going to kind of be like pitch selection, because I like to watch those videos and pick out something that's like, we can address this right now. Mm-hmm. We can fix this right now. We can improve right now. And pitch selection, right? So there were pitches that you attacked inside, outside, that were short, that were out of the zone, that aren't a pitch that I would say you're going to have a lot of success with, that you were going after. And the important thing is when you feel like you missed a swing and you're doing the video, right? Because you have a video on every swing you're taking. So when you hit one poorly, just do something that lets you know when you go back and watch it, like, hey, I mishit that one bad,
Yeah.
or hey, that one felt bad. Like, even if it's just like a look back at the camera and just like a one, I don't care what you do. Just something that acknowledges, like, I'm going to do this every time that I mishit this ball. And then I would almost guarantee you, we can watch the video next time together. It will always be pitch selection 9 times out of 10. Like, it's laughable. And so that's why when I said do T work at your chest so you can feel what it feels like to swing at the strike, the pitch
Yep.
that you're supposed to attack. Because, so, like I said, so many times we hit one poorly and we go, "Oh my God, what did I do wrong? Was it my hands? Was it this?" I do it, man. I'm a victim of it. I'll do it tonight when I go hit BP. I'll top one and go, "Oh, where did I go wrong?" Well, I went wrong because I swung at a pitch that was at my knees. That's where I went wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that was the issue. Like, I don't miss hit many balls when I go put it on a tee at my chest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm usually pretty good at hitting my spot there. So definitely pitch selection. I want to see you taking pitches, and I want you to recognize when you hit them bad, and that way you can look back and recognize how important that strike zone is.
Would you recommend
But
working the tee on that inside half then to, or like doing
yeah,
anything different to like get that pitch so it's not a always avoided pitch?
yeah, for sure. So a great drill for that is set it up middle in, put it way out in front of you, or even so you can put it out in front,
Yep.
right? And I want you to focus on hitting it to left center.
Okay.
Because what happens on that middle end pitch is so many guys go attack it. And yeah, they know how to go get the pitch, right? Go hit it out in front. But the idea is you still have to be inside of it because you have to keep it fair. Like, so many guys pull that inside pitch foul. And I get it all the time. There's a couple other guys that are really good at it. They always ask me, like, how the hell did you keep that pitch fair? Well, I stayed inside of it. And I know I have the power to get away with forcing my hands in and just staying through it. And you do too. I mean, you have great hands, good bat speed. You cut the ball well. You put a lot of spin on it. So set that tee just kind of like, I don't know, man, 2-3 feet, like where you almost feel like, man, this might be too far. Put it out there and just work your way back until it's comfortable. All right. And once you find that spot that's comfortable and you're able to keep it fair, put a cone, circle something in the dirt to where when you get that inside pitch, what do you know? You know where your point of contact needs to be. If this pitch is further inside, well, your point of contact's got to be even further out in front. You know, so many guys always talk about front hat or inside pitch hit here, middle pitch hit here, outside pitch you hit deep. And yes, that's true, but like you also can hit a middle end pitch that gets in on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow pitch. It's not a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, you know, it's not cooking like that. You don't have to worry about perfection. You can get away with, this one's a little deep. I'll just keep my hands inside a little longer and then throw that barrel through extension.
Well, that's one of the cues. If I'm one of the cues you said on the videos was pulling is a reaction. And when I
Yeah.
have that cue in my head, it's night and day difference to, and I don't know if that's just slowing down to stay inside or what it is, but when I have that cue in my head, I am such a better pull hitter than when I'm trying to like attack and like explode through, because everybody was telling like you need to go get the pull ball, and I felt every time it was like completely bleed everything out when I go do that. Whereas if I stay, it's a reaction. It's like a quick snap at the
Yeah.
end, and it's always a good cut ball.
It sucks, man, because I go to the Smoky, go to the major every year. And it always takes the Smoky for me to realize, like, when I'm struggling, I'm trying to pull the ball. Like, why am I trying to pull a softball? Like, I'm going to react to it, right? I'm going to just. So when I go to the Smoky and struggle, like I did this year, in my eyes, like 750, like we talked about, half my hits were home runs. That's struggling. I go play in this Amish tournament last weekend, and I'm focusing on what? Staying inside the ball. I got to keep the ball down. I go take BP. My first 10 swings are push. Well, then, I start just operating and swinging, Once I get that first inside pitch after 10 push swings, it's a 400-foot home run. Like,
Hmm. I'm the
so
same. It's if I'm pushing the ball well and then I react to the pull in a game, it's such a better hit than trying to force it
look,
over there.
and I mean, I doubt a lot of people are watching our videos on YouTube. Hopefully they're not, because I'm about to give you like my number one thing that I don't do, but I'm trying so hard to do. When I pull off of a pitch and topspin one or hit a knuckleball, the next at bat, I'm looking middle to right center. You have to, because you have to reset yourself, especially like, I'm not saying at league night, right? Like if you go up and you try to hit a home run, you hit a top hand single, and the next at bat, like you have bases loaded with 2 outs, like obviously we need to be thinking we're hitting this thing out. But when you're over the course of 40, 50 at bats a weekend, if I hit 2 top handers in a row, I'll tell you what's not going to fix it is me going up there trying to hit another one 500 feet on a pool pit.
Yeah.
That's not going to fix my problems. What is going to fix my problems is going right center, hard, gap, or go, because you're allowed to hit home runs to right center, right? I mean, it's so funny how many guys don't do that. Like Josh Cardwell is one of the best in the business at it, man. He plays for Nitro, and the kid doesn't. I say the kid. He's a freaking grown man. The dude does not pull a softball. He pushes everything. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right field is the same distance as left field, so it's like find your power, find your consistency.
Well, that
And
was
I've
one of the questions I had for you there is I feel like I'm, especially in games and tournaments, and the bigger the tournament, the better the opponent. I feel like in my head, I'm over relying on that push swing. And I don't know if it's because it's my money or what it is, but I'm like, I've found myself even pushing inside pitches just because I don't know if it's more, I'm more comfortable or I'm like staying on the ball. And I feel like I'm getting away from, I know I have a good left center swing, but I never really use it unless it's like a home run situation. Is that a big deal or not really?
what's wrong with that? I mean, as long as you're comfortable pulling the ball when you have to, saying like, and when I say have to, I mean like they go 3 on the push side, pitcher's falling straight back, and you have a giant 1-6 hole and a giant 6 hole.
Yep.
Like you've got to be able to hit those holes. I mean, period. Like there's just no excuse. You have to be able to pull the ball. But again, if you're pushing the ball to right center successfully, you're going to pull it when you have to without
Mhm.
thinking about it.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I
And
felt like
there's
I was
and look,
over
man,
relying.
they give you the whole field for a reason. Play to your strength. Like I'm not a guy that's ever like a ton of guys you'll see, even big guys like monsters that you know. They try to pull the ball down the line because it's shorter and they can get away with a miss. I'm not. I don't think that's wrong. I think that's a great idea. But I know for me, I've always been gap to gap. My
Mhm.
power has always been left center to right center gaps. Always. Well, the field's, I don't give a shit if the field's bigger. That's my power. I'm staying there. And if the wind's blowing in 40 miles an hour and I need to adjust and try to cut one down the line, then I can do that. I know it's in there, but I'm not going to go to that just because I think someone thinks I need to do that. Right? Like, stay with what you're comfortable with. And look, some days that pull swing is going to be money and it's going to feel great and it's going to be everything you want. Some days it's not going to be there. And that's where the luxury is of knowing both sides. So, like if you're in a groove and you're 10 for 10 with right center swings and you come up in a home run situation, you know what else does the job too in a home run situation? A backside double.
Yeah.
I mean, just because I'm still learning that, man, 6 years in, and there's times where I'll come up in a home run situation. And it's like, come on, Irv, like, no doubt, right? No doubt, brother. Hit her
It's the
out. No
worst. It's the
doubt.
worst.
And I'm like, oh my God, I pissed down my leg. Here's a pop up to the shortstop. And it's like, if I'm not in a groove with it, why am I abandoning a right center gap or go swing?
Yeah.
Like if I'm 4 for 4 with 4 backside singles, why when I come up in a home run situation am I pulling the ball? I've been locked in push side. It's felt great. I'm not saying you can't pull it, right? But I'm saying, why am I not going up there with the mindset of right center gap or go?
Hmm.
Because you've already said it, I've said it, and I'll say it every time we get on. I'm sure it'll come up. Pulling the softball is the reaction. So if that ball floats in, guess what? The athlete in us, the BP hours that we've put in are going to take over and you're going to pull that ball. But guess what you're going to do? You're going to stay inside of it because you were telling yourself to stay inside of it already by going right center.
Hmm.
Very few times have I gone up to bat and go, I'm going to pull this ball over the left center scoreboard. And have I done that? Most of the time when I hit my furthest left center shot, it's because I'm thinking stay inside the softball.
Yeah, happened this weekend for me. Exactly. I was thinking right field the whole time. We had two guys on, and it was my best pull swing I've had in a long time.
Dude, I mean, it's frustrating how simple the mindset is and how hard it is to keep that mindset in a live game. It's so difficult. Like it is so hard to be self-aware of I'm 5 for 5 on push swing. Here's a home run opportunity. And so many guys just, oh, gotta pull the ball, home run swing, baby. They freak
So
out.
so that is what the thing that you mentioned there is I talked to my buddy Kyle who plays for Russell's in Florida, and he's been really helpful with my swing as well. And I was talking to him, and I found twice this past weekend where I was 4 for 4 push side, and I dude, multiple times I ran into this like thing, and I get into my head where it's like I have to do something differently because like I've already done that. Like and it's almost like a weird mental fatigue where it's like I don't know. Where whenever I'm like 4 for 4, that fifth at bat, I'm in my head for no reason other than like I think I have to do something different to keep it like 5 for 5, or I don't know what that is. But I was trying to talk to Kyle about it. He gave good advice there, but I was like, any thoughts on like
What
what
did
is
he say?
that?
I'm just curious. I'm always interested in other people's concepts. Maybe it's something I can grab onto and it'll help
Yeah,
me.
I'm gonna pull up his message because it was really good. But he was basically like, it happens all the time. They had to play here. One
Well,
second.
yeah, and the devil's advocate side of that is like when you're 0 for 3, right? Like so many guys are 0 for 2 or 1 for 3, and they're like, oh my God, I can't make a fucking out right here. And instead of thinking that, like instead of thinking about how they're going to attack the pitch, they're like, don't make it out, don't do this, don't do that. And it just creeps in.
Yeah, his whole thing is basically like it's a big focus thing. He's like, just hit barrel, stay with your focus, stop trying to like he's basically saying you're getting yourself out. You're over like trying to overdo something.
Right.
And
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, that's softball, right? Because it's so slow.
yeah.
So I'll tell you, I will use someone else's advice that he has to remind me of constantly, and I've been playing with him for 3, 4 years now. Whenever you're in that moment, right, and you're walking up to bat, and you can feel it whether you're 1 for 3 seeking a hit, hoping you can get on here so you're not 1 for 4, or you're 4 for 4 going, all right, what the hell am I going to do here? Like I got to do something different. Take a pitch, and then call time.
Hmm.
Take a pitch. If he throws you a ball, you don't have to call time. Take another pitch. Take till you get a strike. I mean, and Mitch Lindinsky is the best at that. Like his rule of thumb, and I don't want to give away his secrets, but he's a man that is going to rely on taking a pitch to get his breath.
Hmm.
Like if you make an out, take a pitch your next at bat.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he's still got to throw you a strike. And you're telling me you're a bad ball hitter. I've watched your BP videos. I'm a bad ball hitter. We're all bad ball hitters in a sense. What's the difference between a bad pitch with 2 strikes and a bad pitch with 1 strike?
Yeah.
Well, at least now you got an excuse of why you swung. I thought it was going to be a strike, man. I didn't want to strike out. So take a pitch in that at bat. That's my advice to you. Use that tonight at league night.
Yep.
If you go up there tonight and at no point you're having that mental like block where you're like, all right, 3 for 3, 3 backside. What am I going to do here? I got to try to do this. If you have that thought run through your head tonight, take till you get a strike and just see what happens.
Yep.
Because I bet you stop thinking about it. You start thinking, holy shit, I got a strike on me. I got to lock in here.
Yeah, I'm much better when I have a strike too. Because it's like again, you get out of your
Most
head.
of us are, dude, but we don't give ourselves a chance to be successful with 2 strikes.
Yep.
Because we don't want to get to it.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why. Because honestly, you almost have an upper hand as the hitter. Because now the pitcher knows he has to throw 1 more strike.
Yep.
Like if you swing at that first pitch ball, the pitcher's like, thank God, I don't have to mess with it. Like, and look, I'm preaching to the choir. I should be looking at myself, giving myself this talk.
This is the best
But
part
it's
about
hard.
teaching.
Yeah, it's hard. It's super, super hard to slow your mind down in that moment.
Yep.
And I think the only way to do that is to take a pitch or take till you get a strike. And man, your swing looks really good. And let me just look back. There's just not a whole lot like that I just want to change.
Well, that bleed out thing you mentioned at the beginning, it's crazy how you pick up on that quick because anytime it's that major inside and all of the any C or higher pitcher that I've faced has picked up on that very quickly. And it's like all they throw is in like super inside at the hands. And I was like, God
You
dang it, dude. It's so
you want to
annoying.
fix that? Scoot up on the plate. Fight
Scoot
fire
up.
with fire.
Okay.
Scoot up onto the plate, crowd the plate. KP does it. He's one of the best at it.
Scoot closer to the plate or up on the
Scoot
plate?
closer to the plate.
Closer. Okay.
Closer. It's real hard. Pitch to somebody that crowds the plate. It's real hard to throw them inside.
Okay. And but would that lead okay, here's my thought
So
process. Tell me if
it's a
I'm wrong.
double-edged sword. And I'm saying scoot closer in BP. I want you to scoot closer to the plate and play with that because or actually if you're comfortable where you at, because I like how you step across to that away pitch. That's one of my favorite things about your swing. It keeps your front shoulder in. That's why you're so good to right field. I mean, you're so good to right field because when you step that way. Bradley Jones does it. I'm bad about it. You know, a lot of guys do it. So you have to, let's take out what I just said. Don't scoot closer to the plate. Here's what I want you to do. Stay where you're at. And if the pitch is inside, because you stand pretty far off the plate, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So if the pitch is inside, what is it?
A ball.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the freaking batter's box.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. If you're like, oh shit, that's in. It's definitely in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
a good point. If
so
I'm that far off.
you just have to have discipline there.
Yep.
Not every ball is your hot zone, man. And if you don't, and whoever is watching this, for the half a dozen people that may watch this video to this point,
Our softball nerd videos. Let's go.
whoever wants to watch it, I'll say it right now. You don't have to hit every pitch, and it's okay to strike out. If you don't strike out a few times a year, you don't have enough walks to your record.
Mm.
You've got to strike out. The best in the world do it. Flip Washington leads in walks almost every year. You know what else he leads in? Strikeouts.
Yep.
Big John, top 5 in walks every year. Strikeouts. Mitch Linditsky, top 5 in walks every year. Leads in strikeouts every year. What is the difference in you swinging at a terrible pitch, middle end, with no strikes on you, popping up to the third baseman? Or you working a count deep trying to get your pitch, and they call one borderline for strike 3?
Yeah.
You're out, dude. You're out. You're going back to the dugout. Oh, you owe me a case of beer. Shut up. Shut up. You wouldn't have said that if I'd have got walked and saved one of our home runs, you know, like
yeah.
so what'll happen in turn is guys will know that you demand strike. So they know
They have to
like
pitch to it.
it's like KP, right, man? They know like KP is not wavering from his zone. So I have to deliver a strike. And it helps. Makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And now guess what? Now you're swinging at your pitch. Now you're getting your pitch. Now you're swinging at strikes. Now you have the upper hand. And honestly, it was bad advice for me to tell you to scoot up. And it's something you will do eventually. You will scoot on the plate once we get your hands working just a little more efficiently, because it'll just give you an upper hand, honestly. But right now, you don't need that. Just just stay where you're at and recognize inside pitches. Because if you don't swing at them, you can't get in trouble.
Yeah, because I started the year way off, like aggressively off the plate, and it was very helpful at the start of the year. And then guys just started pitching inside, and I felt like I had to swing at those, so I scooted closer, and it almost like closed the distance to where I was getting less inside pitches. So what you're saying makes sense a lot, because as soon as I did it helped a lot.
Yeah. So when you scoot up on the plate, guys tend to not throw inside.
Yeah, I just realized I left like a huge gap to throw to. You know, like you're not going to throw at
you're
me.
Just,
yeah,
and so you're kind of inviting them to throw into your weak spot. But if you learn to take that pitch, you've also eliminated your weak spot, right? Like because it's an automatic ball.
Yep.
And KP, he crowds the plate, right? Because why? Because he knows his hands are better than any softball that's coming in there.
Yeah.
He's got some of the fastest hands in the world. Bradley Jones, those dudes can do that. But for, everyday softball players, come on, you can't expect. You have good enough hands to where you can scoot up on the plate zone. But look, if you're not comfortable hitting that middle end, that tight middle end pitch, why would you swing at it? Stay where you're at, recognize it's a ball, and just trust it. Look, man, if they call it a strike, they call it a strike. You're hitting with 2 strikes now. Cool,
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, and something we'll work on, like if we keep doing this and we keep talking and we keep doing BP stuff, like something we'll work on is hitting an inside pitch to right field. One of my
Okay.
favorite things to do. One of my favorite
Can I
because
can,
it does. Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I am much better at doing I do that all the time. I'm so much better at that than going pull side with the inside. And that's why I was like wondering, like I've been taking so many inside pitches, either inside outing it or just getting my
Yeah.
hands there and getting it over. But if I don't know if it's like the timing
I
issue.
I love middle end pitches going push.
And it's a good okay, that's good to know.
It's
I
one of
thought I
my
was
favorites,
overdoing that.
dude. If you go watch any of my Hitting with the Nation videos when I'm doing T work, you'll see me do this on a middle end pitch working right side. I close my shoulders and I fall away
Yep.
and I stay here and I just basically back up
Yeah.
because you don't have to hit it hard over there. You just got to hit it there in your hole.
Yep.
And if the pitcher should be, if he's throwing you inside, his defense should be where?
Pull
Should be
side.
pulled.
Yep.
So it gives you a lot of room for error. And then guess what else you can do? You accidentally hit one right by the pitcher's ear. He's not throwing that again because
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That
Yeah.
wasn't fun. I never understood the reasoning for hitting middle. Like I was just never a fan of it. Even when I started in conferences, like I'm not doing that. Like I'm not here to hurt anybody. That's not like the goal. But Jason Branch said it best. There's a time to hit middle. There is. If your guy gets hit and it's out of place, it shouldn't happen. Absolutely, your guy's getting hit too. If you're scared, get a dog. Like
Yep.
I'm sorry, but and also you got to set a precedent, man. You got to let them know, like if you're gonna frolic me around the zone, throw one away, throw one up here in my chest. I'm not gonna let you just willy nilly flip it wherever you want. If you throw that pitch right here, where I always say, find your least favorite pitch to hit and learn to hit it middle.
Mm. Okay.
That way you never get it.
Yeah, they don't pitch it again.
I ain't throwing that again.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing fun about that coming off my shin. We're gonna throw that pitch right here. It's like when you go to the major. Man, it seems like he's just throwing KP middle in. Yeah, he is.
He's not
He
trying to
doesn't want
die.
to die. Like he is throwing KP middle in. He is throwing Josh Riley middle in. He is throwing Terry Lambright middle in because
Yeah.
they don't want it to blow off of his chest. Like it's a business decision.
Mm.
And
Yep.
at your level where you're at, where you're a little bit better than a lot of these guys, like you can kind of do that. You can set an intimidating presence, and that's okay. I'm not saying go out there and blow 58-year-old Johnny's knees off, like because he's got to go to work tomorrow. But if you're playing in a competitive tournament and you feel like a guy's like kind of nipping around the zone, and you just feel like he's not like he's playing with fire, yeah, shoot one through there.
Mhm.
It'll change his mind.
Yep.
I mean, so and that was the thing, man. I didn't want to come on here and like talk about your swing a lot today because it looks like it's in a really good place. And now we just got to kind of eliminate our misses slowly
Yeah.
but surely. And I think doing that T work middle in, like really just continue to move it in, right? And I always love to do it. At one point, the T might be right here in front of you. And my goal to you is keep it fair
Yep.
because if we make that negative movement that we started with today, you make this movement,
It's going way out there.
that ball's foul every
Yeah.
time. There's only one way to keep that ball fair, and that's here, 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 here. We want that front shoulder inside release.
Yep.
And look, you're gonna have some balls that have that nasty little side spin that no one likes in softball. That's okay. This is for a drill, right? Like it's okay to have some odd swings, odd ball flights. We're trying to just kind of get that feel of what is keeping my hands inside and what is keeping my hands separated from my body.
Mm. Yep.
So I think it's like our second or third BP video. There's a drill I used to do in college all the time. I would get on like a chain link fence, like right here, and I would put my hands, like I would hook my fingers into that chain link, and I would go through my progression and go like my lower half is going to swing and I'm going to swing. but keep my hands on the chain link.
Yeah, I like that one. That the feel of that one's really nice. I don't think I ever do it like into my
That's
actual swing, but the feel of it is
I'll do it.
awesome.
I do it on deck, man. I love it on deck.
Yep.
So just focus on that, because and dude, trust your honey hole. That's like, think about it like this. Do you fish any?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, everybody knows about when you go fishing, you have a honey hole, right? Like,
Yep.
this is my spot. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. They may know about it, but I'm not going to tell them where it's at. What fisherman in their right mind would say, man, I've been tearing fish up at my honey hole. I've been catching 8-pound bass, 10-pound bass, 5-pound bass, left and right. But man,
I'm gonna go over here.
I'm gonna go over here where some people haven't been catching a whole lot. I'm just tired of catching fish. I'm so tired of catching fish for my family every day. I'm leaving. That's what we're saying when we say, man, I got 4 base hits to right. Do I really want to do that again?
Yeah, that's a great
That's okay to
analogy.
say at league night on a Tuesday when you're having fun with your buddies, but at a tournament or the championship of your league night, like, what? The goal of softball is what? Get on base. Get on base. If it's 5 for 5 push side, it's 5 for 5 push side.
Mm.
It don't matter.
Yep.
So just don't be afraid to dip into your honey hole over and over again. As long as it's working, take it. Because there's going to be a weekend where it's not working,
Yeah.
and you're going to wish it was. So it's just focus on that middle end, keeping it fair, and then just really be more detailed about swinging the pitches. I want to really see you, like, when you miss it one, point it out to the camera, say it felt it was not a good feel, and we'll go back and we'll look through those, and I guarantee you they're all poor pitch selection.
Okay.
9
And
out of 10 of them.
so that last question there, if I want so this because this is what I've been thinking about with I know that in a game, and a lot of times, so the last like 2 or 3 weeks, especially since you've opened up that stance where I see it right away, I have avoided that pitch. In BP, do I still want to avoid that pitch to train not avoiding it, or do I want to work on hitting that pitch in BP? You know, like that's what I've been struggling with thought process or philosophy wise of do I want to get better at
Just so set a round, like, have a round where I'm only swinging at strikes no matter what.
okay. Yep.
Make that your goal.
Yep.
And then have a round where I call it a reaction round, right? So I love when guys say, you got to have a plan. You always got to have a plan. Sometimes plans aren't there. Sometimes plans blow up in your face. So I do what I call a reaction round. I don't know where my middleman is. I just pretend he's right behind second base. I'm reacting to the pitch. So if it's away, I'm pushing the ball. If it's pull, I'm pulling the ball. Just a reaction round. And so in that round, that's when you're going to attack that bad pitch. Okay. Like, that's when it's okay to hit that pitch that you probably shouldn't swing at.
Okay.
But when you have that reaction round and you swing and miss at a bad one, like you flare it or you pop it up, understand that's why it happened.
Okay.
Not because something was flawed in your swing, but because you swung at a shit pitch.
Yeah.
Like, we're all so quick to just instantly turn to our swing. Like, our swing was fucked there. No, Daryl, you swung at a pitch above your head. Like, that's what was wrong, my guy. So just focus on that. But that's a good question, man. Like, recognize that pitch that you don't like and take it when we're taking it. And then when we have our reaction round, also recognize that it was that pitch. That way, if you miss it, you don't feel so bad about yourself.
Yep.
Anything else, man? I always forget to ask you if you got any questions. We just get to talking, and then
No. That I mean, all of those the philosophy there was there were a lot of questions I had in the philosophy that you kind of answered. Especially with like the honey hole analogy helped a lot, just like sticking with that, and then the bad pitch, wondering. But I dude, the as stupid as it is, I told Kyle, I'm like, dude, it's so stupid, but it worked for me. Like opening up, like I don't know if this is right, but it's like using both eyes for the pitch instead of like the side eye. Like, dude, it's made a night and day difference. Like that league night I went to, I was like, I am seeing the ball so much better. It is ridiculous.
it's huge, dude. And another thing, if you ever feel like, so I just watched a few more of your swings there. We're gonna have to definitely address this movement, right? Because you're kind of firing everything at once.
Okay.
Like, it just looks like we're rotating and pulling. And it's not, look, that is not something, this is something like this.
Yep.
That's once you fix it, once you do it once, it'll click with you.
Mm,
So before each round, I want you to get on the chain link and I want you to feel
that disconnect.
this movement. Like where I need you to do that before every round you take. Because I got to slowly introduce you to that the hip and shoulders operating separately.
Yep.
Because that's where a lot of power is going to come in. And what I'll do, my wife's out of town this weekend, so I'll be bored all weekend. So what I'll do is I'll try to clip some good slow mos of some like good torque like that, so you
Okay.
can kind of see the difference.
Yep.
And you can take a look. So man, just at your tournaments this weekend, see the ball deep. You know, if it's a really good knuckleball and you don't have a strike on you, take it. Don't swing at his best knuckleball.
Yep.
I mean, it's like there's a couple guys out there that throw some gross knuckleballs, and guys go, "Oh shit, it's a strike! I got to swing." No, if I look at a pitch and it's not moving, and I
That's
don't have a
me.
strike, I'm like, okay,
That's such a
I'm not.
good thought process, dude. The amount of times where I see the knuckleball where I know it's going to be a strike, but I'm like, dude, that's a nasty pitch, but it's a strike, so I swing, and I'm like, what am
Yeah,
I? Yeah, that's a good idea because he has to throw it
why?
again.
Like
Yeah.
I was catching Farron Miller, 6'8" Amish guy that I've played with for the last 3 years. He's been around the game forever. He's pitching to this 17-year-old Amish team, and he is throwing some of the grossest ASA knuckleballs I've ever seen. And they're strikes, don't get me wrong, but all of these kids are swinging at him. And I'm like, no, like if I can read you triple SA or ASA or USA on that ball on the first pitch, I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm not popping this up to you. Get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I will swing at this with 2 strikes. Do it again. Like, just demand that he does it twice, because there is such thing as like swinging at a too good of a knuckleball. Like,
Yep.
why put yourself in that situation? So, but remember this, most importantly, I want finch drill. I want you working inside of that softball. And oh God, what was my last thing? This was the main thing, but I wanted to save it. It'll come to me as soon as we get off the phone.
Yeah.
So finch drill, staying inside of it. Oh, and when you feel like you're not mentally clear going into the box, take a pitch.
Take a pitch. Yep.
Take a pitch. Take a pitch. Just, and even at league night tonight, just work on taking a pitch. Just choose 2 at bats tonight. 2 at bats, whether it's like, I would say let's not choose like bottom of the 7th, like bases loaded, 2 outs, but like maybe like, top of the 3rd, no one on with an out or 2, and no home run to hit. Take till you get a strike. 2 at bats tonight. Take till you get a strike.
Mm. Yep.
Just that's your plan. I'm going to take till I get a strike. And then when they get that strike on you, call time, step out, deep breath, reset. And that's something I have to hold myself accountable to as well, because I'll get 3-1, right? And what do? I stand in the box like a dummy. And I'm like, okay, throw the next one that I'm taking also. Like, I used to get so mad at guys for stepping out 3-1, but it's effective. The guys who get walked the most in our league, they step out 3-1.
Yep.
Because the pitcher's got to think about it. He loses that. Like when you throw a ball as a pitcher, if you're throwing BP, right? You throw a ball and then you throw another one right after. Well, what's the first thing you're doing after you throw a ball? You're like, okay, well, I felt where that went wrong. I'm not doing that right here.
Yep.
Why would I give you that luxury? I'm going to call time. I want you to think about it.
Yep.
I want you to get up there fresh and throw another pitch ice cold. So just keep that in mind and just keep your mind clear tonight, man. And,
Nope.
and if you hit the same hole 5 times in a game, you had a hell of a game. You were locked in.
Sweet.
So, dude, always fun hopping on here talking with you, and I mean, I enjoy it. So the pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to keep these rolling. This was awesome. You answered a lot of
Yeah,
the
dude,
philosophical
we'll have to
questions
get
I
someone
had.
else on here with us one time or something.
That'd be
Figure
sweet.
out someone else hop on here and just talk about a little bit of everything.
That'd be dope.
All right, buddy. If you get any videos or anything, shoot them to me. And if when you get done with league, just text me. Let me know how it went.
Works for me.
All right, brother.
Hell yeah. Have a good night.
Later, my man.